except for the technical team who is on cameras. Others are requested to please be seated how much were possible. If you have seats, please find a seat and be seated. Dear friends, Honorable Minister of Communications, Railways, Electronics and Information Technology, Shri Ashwini Vaishnav sir, is here with us today for the inauguration of India's first 3D constructed post office building. We have Member of Parliament, Shri P.C. Mohan sir, and Shri Manu Santanam, Professor Civil Engineering and Dean IC and SR IIT Madras. A very happy and a pleasant morning to everyone present here. Dignitaries on and off the dais, invitees, officers of the Department of Post, press and media, and my dear colleagues. Today, we have gathered here at the Meghdut Auditorium of Bengaluru General Post Office for the virtual inauguration of India's first 3D printed post office constructed through 3D concrete printing technology, which is a fully automated building construction technology. We are privileged to have with us the Honorable Union Minister of Communications, Shri Ashwini Vaishnav, for the inauguration of India's first 3D constructed post office. To invoke positivity and inaugurate the event, may I request my colleague Srimati Hema Malini to present an invocation song.
विश्वविनूतन विद्याचेतन सर्वहृदय संस्कारी जय भारती करुनाड सरस्वती गुडिगोपुर सुरशिल्पकलाकृति कृष्णे तुंगे कावेरी पवित्रित क्षेत्र मनोहारी विश्वविनूतन विद्याचेतन सर्वहृदय संस्कारी जय भारती गंग कदंबा राष्ट्रकूट बल चालुक्य होय्सळ बल्लाळ हक्क बुक्क पुलकेशि विक्रमर चेन्नम्माजिय वीरश्री विश्वविनूतन विद्याचेतन सर्वहृदय संस्कारी जय भारती जय भारती जय भारती. Thank you.
Thank you, Hema Malini, for the melodious rendition. It is a pride moment for us, being Namma Bengaluru is witnessing and entering the book of history. May I now request Shri S. Rajendra Kumar, Chief Postmaster General of Karnataka Circle, to give us an introduction about the event and present welcome address. Sir, please.
ವೇದಿಕೆಯ ಮೇಲೆ ಆಸೀನರಾಗಿರುವ ಕೇಂದ್ರ ಸಂಪರ್ಕ ರೈಲು ಎಲೆಕ್ಟ್ರಾನಿಕ್ಸ್ ಮತ್ತು ಮಾಹಿತಿ ತಂತ್ರಜ್ಞಾನ ಸಚಿವರಾದ ಶ್ರೀ ಅಶ್ವಿನಿ ವೈಷ್ಣವರವರೇ, ಬೆಂಗಳೂರು ಕೇಂದ್ರ ಕ್ಷೇತ್ರದ ಸಾಂಸದರಾದ ಶ್ರೀ ಪಿ.ಸಿ. ಮೋಹನ್ ರವರೇ, IIT Madras Civil Engineering Department Professor Manu Santanam ಅವರೇ ಮತ್ತು ಇಲ್ಲಿ ನೆರೆದಿರುವ ಮಾನ್ಯ ಸಭಿಕರೇ, ever since the 3D printed post office building has been in the news, I have been receiving a number of queries which to some extent I could answer now. For a layman's understanding of building construction using 3D concrete printing technology, I can say that there are two types. One construction process involves printing of building elements at a manufacturing facility and assembling at the site. The other process is to build on the construction site as per the input design. The post office building has been constructed at Cambridge layout is on site. So what was the objective of this initiative? The objective, I should say, was to promote a new technology that would be cost effective and environment friendly when compared with conventional methods. I would not hazard any explanation beyond this, and I leave it to the experts to elaborate further. The presence of the Honorable Minister of Communications today has been a great source of encouragement for us. This would give a fillip to the adoption of this cutting-edge technology. Thank you, sir, for your gracious presence. ಕರ್ನಾಟಕ ಅಂಚೆ ವರ್ತುಲದ ವತಿಯಿಂದ ಮಾನ್ಯ ಕೇಂದ್ರ ಸಚಿವರಿಗೆ ನಾನು ಹೃತ್ಪೂರ್ವಕ ಸ್ವಾಗತವನ್ನು ಕೋರುತ್ತೇನೆ. ಬೆಂಗಳೂರು ಕೇಂದ್ರ ಕ್ಷೇತ್ರದ ಸಾಂಸದರಾದ ಶ್ರೀ PC ಮೋಹನ್ ರವರು ನಮ್ಮ ಎಲ್ಲ ಚಟುವಟಿಕೆಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಸಕ್ರಿಯವಾಗಿ ಭಾಗವಹಿಸಿ ಪ್ರೋತ್ಸಾಹ ನೀಡುತ್ತಿರುತ್ತಾರೆ. ಮಾನ್ಯ ಸಾಂಸದರಿಗೂ ನಾನು ಆದರದ ಸ್ವಾಗತವನ್ನು ಬಯಸುತ್ತೇನೆ. ಮಾನ್ಯ ಶಾಸಕರಾದ ಶ್ರೀ ರಿಜ್ವಾನ್ ಅರ್ಷದ್ ಮತ್ತು ಶ್ರೀ ಎನ್ ಎ ಹ್ಯಾರಿಸ್ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ನಮ್ಮ ಜೊತೆಗೆ ಇರಬೇಕಿತ್ತು, ಕಾರಣಾಂತರದಿಂದ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಬಂದಿಲ್ಲ. ಅವರ ಅನುಪಸ್ಥಿತಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಅವರಿಗೆ ನಾನು ಸ್ವಾಗತವನ್ನು ಕೋರುತ್ತೇನೆ. A hearty welcome to Professor Manu Santanam, Department of Civil Engineering, IIT Madras. We are thankful to Director IIT Madras for facilitating technology guidance for this project. A hearty welcome to the L&T team led by George Abraham, Rajiv Karthikeyan, Lakshmi Narayan, and Mohan, who have executed this project so efficiently. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ನೆರೆದಿರುವ ಅಂಚೆ ಇಲಾಖೆಯ ಅಭಿಮಾನಿಗಳು ಮತ್ತು ಮಾಧ್ಯಮ ಮಿತ್ರರು ಎಲ್ಲರಿಗೂ ನಾನು ಸ್ವಾಗತವನ್ನು ಬಯಸುತ್ತೇನೆ. ಧನ್ಯವಾದಗಳು.
Thank you, sir. Now I take the privilege of welcoming you to today's program, sir. Hearty welcome to you. Ladies and gentlemen, today is the day Cambridge Layout Post Office of our very own Namma Bengaluru is finding its place in history by becoming the nation's first 3D printed post office building. We would like to present to you a glimpse of its construction process through a short video. Our technical team is requested to stream the video, please.
Cambridge Layout is India's first of its kind facility built using the innovative 3D concrete printing technology by L&T Construction and India Post. With a built-up area of 1,000 square feet, the project was completed ahead of schedule in 43 days as against 45 days. The project was kicked off with various inaugural events. The foundation was a conventional raft-type foundation with a grade slab at the ground floor level. The fluidic form harnesses the dynamism of 3D concrete printing. It taps the potential offered by tangential printing, enabling one-go printing on-site. Day 9 marked the beginning of wall printing operations. Wall printing operations was divided into 4 stages: grade slab level to first sill level, first sill level to first lintel level, first lintel level to second lintel level, up to the roof slab level. This was succeeded by precast slab erection and concreting works. This effort by India Post reflects nation building on the concept of Atmanirbhar Bharat, providing technology-driven building construction with the aim to provide high-quality, faster and smarter infrastructure in India.
Thank you. I'm sure after having seen the video, most of you would be interested to know the technical details of it. Let us hear from the expert. May I now request Shri Manu Santanam, Professor Civil Engineering and Dean of Industrial Consultancy and Sponsored Research, IIT Madras, to please present technical summary.
So, Honorable Minister Shri Ashwini Vaishnavji, Honorable MP Shri PC Mohanji, Honorable dignitaries from India Post, members from the Postal Fraternity, members from L&T, and my dear friends. It's indeed a pleasure to appear before you to give some brief details, technical details about concrete 3D printing, which has emerged as a potential construction technology to speed up construction and also bring in elements of aesthetics that were not considered easy to do in conventional construction processes. So I'll just briefly run you through some technical details about how concreting with 3D printing is possible, and give you some examples of structures and also give specifics of this particular building and how IIT Madras was involved with L&T to help in the helming of the first Indian commercial 3D printed building. And I'll also give some glimpses for what opportunities we have for the future with this exciting technology. Next, please. Next. So in general, 3D printing requires a unique combination of three different aspects. One is the presence of machines and robots. Now, I'm happy to inform you that indigenous manufacturers of these machines and robots are available, L&T included. We have several companies which have really come up and produced this technology in-house. So we have a lot of Atmanirbharta in this particular aspect. In terms of the concrete material itself, it's not like a regular concrete. It has to actually achieve very specific properties which makes the structure possible on-site or even in a precast condition. So there are several different aspects of concrete properties that need to be looked at, and all this needs to be defined very carefully. And of course, ultimately the control that is brought about by the electronics that is provided, and also the data transfer that happens to convert a 3D model into two-dimensional layers that can be printed. All of that requires a lot of important coding. And so this brings in a vast amount of multidisciplinarity. You have civil engineering combined with mechanical, electrical, and computer science. So indeed, it presents the future of how construction will be undertaken. Some examples here, these are some structures that were demonstrated as potential 3D printed structures by an IIT Madras company called Twasta. Apart from this, we also have several structures that have been built by Larsen & Toubro as demonstration structures in Kanchipuram. And of course, now they have taken it up to the next level by giving this commercial post office building. And they are also on their way to build a large complex for the Border Roads organization in Chandigarh, which is soon going to be a new marvel when it comes to 3D printing in India. Apart from this, there's been projects executed for the defense also by another startup called MyCorp. So it's very interesting to note that apart from the large players, we also have a lot of startups coming in this area. And indeed, that presents the possibilities that this exciting technology has for the future. So IIT Madras was primarily involved with the presence of my colleague, Professor Ravindra Gettu, who was involved as a primary advisor. The idea was to work with the L&T team to provide guidance on several different things, including the design as well as the construction technology itself. We had several other members from IIT also who joined along with Professor Gettu to look at the assessment of the material and structural design, to oversee the construction methodology, and also to undertake site visits to work with the L&T team to see that the right kind of quality was being attained and the right kind of finishes that are expected in any conventional structure were also being attained. Just some particulars of the project. As you saw from the video, it's actually a concrete which has been continuously cast all along the perimeter without any vertical joints. There's, of course, to showcase the technology, a special curved surface was used because we don't need to now depend on planar walls anymore, just like conventional construction, because there's no formwork involved. We have some flexibility in form and shape, and that's exactly what was actually sought in this case. The reinforced concrete footing was conventional, just like any other regular building. There's a 3-layer wall out, which was actually printed. The outer leaves were then first printed, and then the inner part was actually filled up with reinforced concrete. There were beams provided at the grade level, at the lintel levels, at 3 levels, to provide adequate resistance to the lateral loads. There's also, as already indicated in the video, 45 days was the actual planned construction schedule, and it actually was completed within 43 days. That shows you that this technology has a way to speed up construction like very few other technologies have. And it was all executed at a cost which is quite small for a building that has come up this fast. So reduction in time and saving in cost. Apart from that, what we also have to realize is because we are actually putting material only where we want, we are also saving on material and reducing material wastage. So that's one more aspect that is positive here. Some opportunities, as I already said, geometric flexibility is a major opportunity with 3D printing. We can now produce shapes that were inconceivable in the past. So we are playing at the edge of what construction can actually undertake in the future. We can also try and make our structures more topologically optimized so that we reduce the quantity of material that we use in construction and provide for much more sustainable construction. Next. And of course, with respect to houses, this technology actually affords a lot of interesting ideas, because we can now come up with very interesting structures or facades for the walls, and also enclose the utilities and other electrical connections within the cavities that exist within the walls. So you don't really have to now start breaking open the wall to actually put in these utilities and all that. And the other aspect about customization really comes up in a great way with 3D printing, because it's a 3D printed model. Even if you have to build 50 houses together, each house can be individually customized without actually having to repeat the same design again and again. I think that would be possibly the biggest selling point of a technology like this, especially for rural construction or peri-urban construction where land space is not really a problem. Next. So I thank you all for your patient listening, and I hope that I've brought to you some aspects of this very vital and critical technology that is paving the way to more innovations in the construction industry. Thank you all very much.
Thank you very much, sir. That was Professor Manu Santanam, Dean of IC and SR, IIT Madras. Dear friends, we have now reached the much-awaited segment of today's event, which is virtual inauguration of India's first 3D printed post office building at Cambridge Layout here at Bengaluru. I request Honorable Minister of Communications to please do the honors through press of a button. Cambridge Layout Post Office building of Namma Bengaluru is being inaugurated by the Honorable Minister of Communications, Shri Ashwini Vaishnav. Thanking the Minister of Communications for doing the honors. It is indeed a historic day for the postal community to embrace technology in construction of post office building through 3D printing technology. To mark this occasion, a special cover on India's first 3D printed post office building is being released by India Post. May I request the Honorable Minister of Communications to please do the honors. A special cover on India's first 3D printed post office building, which is at Cambridge Layout of Namma Bengaluru, Karnataka. A special cover is being unveiled, released by Minister of Communications, Shri Ashwini Vaishnav. I also take this opportunity to request the Honorable Minister to unveil a 3D printed replica of the post office building. This is the exact replica of the post office building, which is constructed using 3D printing technology. And Honorable Minister will now be unveiling a 3D model of the same. The 3D model, the exact replica of the building which is constructed using 3D printing technology is here. And the same is unveiled by the Honorable Union Minister for Communications, Shri Ashwini Vaishnav. Thank you very much, sir, and thank all the dignitaries for doing the honors. We have with us today Member of Parliament from Bengaluru Central Constituency, Shri P.C. Mohan. May I request, sir, to please address the gathering.
ಎಲ್ಲರಿಗೂ ನಮಸ್ಕಾರ. ಇವತ್ತಿನ ಈ ಕಾರ್ಯಕ್ರಮದಲ್ಲಿ ವೇದಿಕೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಉಪಸ್ಥಿತಿರುವಂತಹ ಕೇಂದ್ರ ಮಂತ್ರಿಗಳು, ಹಿರಿಯರು ಆದಂತಹ ಅಶ್ವಿನಿ ವೈಷ್ಣವ್ ಅವರೇ, ರಾಜೇಂದ್ರ ಕುಮಾರ್ಜಿ ಅವರೇ, ಸಂತಾನಮ್ ಅವರೇ, ಹಾಗೂ ವೇದಿಕೆ ಮೇಲೆ ಉಪಸ್ಥಿತಿರುವ ಗಣ್ಯರೇ, ಬಂದಿರತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಎಲ್ಲ ನನ್ನ ಆತ್ಮೀಯ ಅಕ್ಕ ತಂಗಿಯರೇ ಮತ್ತು ಅಣ್ಣ ತಂಗಿಯರೇ, ಇವತ್ತು ದೇಶದ ಮೊದಲನೆಯ ಒಂದು 3D ಪ್ರಿಂಟೆಡ್ ಪೋಸ್ಟ್ ಆಫೀಸು ಇವತ್ತು ನಮ್ಮ ಬೆಂಗಳೂರು ಮಹಾನಗರದಲ್ಲಿ ಆಗಿರೋದು ನಿಜವಾಗ್ಲೂ ಕೂಡ ಬಹಳ ಸಂತೋಷ. ಯಾಕೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ, ಬೆಂಗಳೂರು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಯಾವುದೇ ಒಂದು ಹೊಸ ಟೆಕ್ನಾಲಜಿ, ಅದಾಗಲಿ ಅದರಲ್ಲೂ IT, ಸಿಲಿಕಾನ್ ವ್ಯಾಲಿ ಆಫ್ ಇಂಡಿಯಾ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. ಇಂತಹ ಒಂದು ಬೆಂಗಳೂರು ಮಹಾನಗರದಲ್ಲಿ ಇವತ್ತು ನಮ್ಮ ಈ ಪೋಸ್ಟ್ ಆಫೀಸು ಹೊಸ ಟೆಕ್ನಾಲಜಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಆಗಿರೋದು ಬಹಳ ಸಂತೋಷ. ನಾನು ಈ ಕಾರ್ಯಕ್ರಮವನ್ನು ಉದ್ಘಾಟನೆ ಮಾಡಿದಂತಹ ನಮ್ಮ ಮಂತ್ರಿ ಅಶ್ವಿನಿ ವೈಷ್ಣವ್ಜಿ ಅವರಿಗೆ ನಾನು ಅಭಿನಂದನೆಗಳು, ಧನ್ಯವಾದಗಳನ್ನು ಕೂಡ ಸಲ್ಲಿಸ್ತೀನಿ. ಇದು ಕೇವಲ 45 ದಿನಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಈ ಒಂದು ಏನೊಂದು ಕನ್ವೆನ್ಷನಲ್ ಮೆಥಡ್ ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಈ ಒಂದು ಹೊಸ ಟೆಕ್ನಾಲಜಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಮಾಡಿರೋದ್ರಿಂದ ಇದು ಒಂದು ಕಾಸ್ಟ್ ಕೂಡ ಒಂದು 30ರಿಂದ 40% ಕಡಿಮೆ ಕೂಡ ಆಗಿದೆ ಇದರಲ್ಲಿ. ಇವತ್ತು ಇದೊಂದು ಬರೀ ಪೋಸ್ಟ್ ಆಫೀಸಸ್ ಕಟ್ಟಲಿಕ್ಕಲ್ಲ, ಇದು ನಾನೇನು ಹೇಳೋದು ಅಂದರೆ ನನ್ನ ಸಲಹೆ, ಬೇರೆ ಬೇರೆ ಗೌರ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಡಿಪಾರ್ಟ್ಮೆಂಟ್ಸಲ್ಲೂ ಕೂಡ ಈ ತಂತ್ರಜ್ಞಾನವನ್ನು, ಈ ಟೆಕ್ನಾಲಜಿಯನ್ನು ಉಪಯೋಗಿಸಿ ನಮ್ಮ ಕಾಸ್ಟ್ ಕಟ್ಟಿಂಗಲ್ಲಿ ಬಹಳ ನಾವು ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ಹೋಗ್ಬೋದು. ಯಾಕೆಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಈಗಾಗಲೇ ಸಂತಾನಮ್ ಅವರು ಮಾತಾಡುವಾಗ ಹೇಳ್ತಿದ್ರು, ಇದು ಒಂದು 40 ಮನೆ ಕಟ್ಟಿದ್ರೆ ಎಲ್ಲ ಒಂದೇ ಥರ ಕಟ್ಟಬೇಕು ಅನ್ನೋದೇನಿಲ್ಲ, ಒಂದೊಂದು ಮನೆ ಒಂದೊಂದು ಥರ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊ. ಯಾಕೆಂದರೆ ಇಟ್ಸ್ ನಾಟ್ ಪ್ರೀ ಕಾಸ್ಟೆಡ್ ತೊಗೊಂಡು ಬಂದು ಸೈಟಲ್ಲಿ ಇಡೋವಂಥದ್ದಲ್ಲ, ಅಲ್ಲೇ ಕಾಸ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡೋದ್ರಿಂದ ಡಿಸೈನ್ ಯಾವುದು ಬೇಕಾದರೂ ಕೂಡ ಸೈಟ್ಗೆ ಅನುಗುಣವಾಗಿ, ಜಾಗಕ್ಕೆ ಅನುಗುಣವಾಗಿ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು. ಇದು ನಿಜವಾಗ್ಲೂ ಕೂಡ ನಮ್ಮ ಬೆಂಗಳೂರು ಮಹಾನಗರದಲ್ಲಿ ಆಗಿರೋದು ಬಹಳ ಒಳ್ಳೆಯದು. ಕಳೆದ 9 ವರ್ಷಗಳಿಂದ ನರೇಂದ್ರ ಮೋದಿಜಿಯವರ ಸರ್ಕಾರದಲ್ಲಿ ಕಳೆದ 75 ವರ್ಷಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಆಗದಿರುವಂಥ ಒಳ್ಳೆಯ ಕೆಲಸಗಳು ಆಗಿದೆ. ಅದರಲ್ಲೂ ಕೂಡ ಪೋಸ್ಟಲ್ ಡಿಪಾರ್ಟ್ಮೆಂಟಲ್ಲಿ ಪೋಸ್ಟಲ್ ಬ್ಯಾಂಕಿಂಗ್ ಇರ್ಬೋದು, ಎಲ್ಲವನ್ನೂ ಕೂಡ ಮನೆ ಬಾಗಿಲಿಗೆ ತೊಗೊಂಡೋಗೋದ್ರಲ್ಲಿ ಬಹಳ ಒಂದು ಯಶಸ್ವಿ ಆಗಿದೆ. ಕೇಂದ್ರದಲ್ಲೂ ಕೂಡ ಒಳ್ಳೊಳ್ಳೆಯ ಯೋಜನೆಗಳು ಕೂಡ ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿ ನಡೀತಾ ಇದೆ. ಇವತ್ತು ಈ ಟೆಕ್ನಾಲಜಿ ಏನಿದೆಯೋ ಇದು ಬರೀ ಪೋಸ್ಟಲ್ ಡಿಪಾರ್ಟ್ಮೆಂಟ್ಗೆಲ್ಲ, ಎಲ್ಲ ಡಿಪಾರ್ಟ್ಮೆಂಟ್ಸ್ಗೂ ಆಗಲಿ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ, ಉಪಯೋಗ ಮಾಡಿಕೊಳ್ಳಿ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇವತ್ತಿನ ಈ ಸಂದರ್ಭದಲ್ಲಿ ಮಾತಾಡಲು ಅವಕಾಶ ತಮ್ಮೆಲ್ಲರಿಗೂ ವಂದಿಸಿ ಮಾತನ್ನು ಮುಗಿಸ್ತೀನಿ. ನಮಸ್ಕಾರ. ಜೈ ಹಿಂದ್, ಜೈ ಕರ್ನಾಟಕ ಮಾತು.
Bangalore North Constituency's Honorable Member of Parliament, Shri Bangalore Central Constituency's Honorable Member of Parliament, Shri P.C. Mohan sir, thank you very much for your address. May I now request the chief guest of today's program, Honorable MOC, to please address the gathering.
ನಮಸ್ಕಾರ. ಹೇಗಿದ್ದೀರಾ? Correct. Then where's the answer? On this very early morning program, all the dignitaries present on the dais, my friend Mr. Mohan, our very innovative CPMG, Mr. Rajendra Kumar, Professor Santhanam from IIT Madras, all the friends present here. It's always a pleasure to come to Bengaluru. Somehow this city has so much energy, so much positivity, so much forward-looking character that I really, really enjoy coming to Bengaluru. This city presents always a new picture of India. The new picture that you saw today in terms of this 3D printed post office building, that's the spirit of India today. That's the spirit with which our country is progressing today. I can give you 10 examples. Nobody ever thought that India would be developing its own 4G and 5G technology. Nobody ever thought. Nobody ever thought that India would be manufacturing its very, very complex telecom equipment. Nobody ever thought. Actually, one of the industry veterans, Mr. Sunil Bharti Mittal, he mentioned that he has been in the telecom industry for about 35 years, and never could he imagine that India would emerge as a manufacturer and developer of telecom technology. Nobody could have ever thought that India would be able to design and manufacture a world-class train, equal to, on the way to making its own bullet train. Example after example, sector after sector, nobody could ever thought that India would be exporting howitzer guns. Namaskara, sir. I welcome Mr. Sadanand Gowda ji. Namaskara, sir. Nobody could ever imagine that these kind of technological developments could even be thought of, executed, designed. The spirit of development, the spirit of developing our own technology, the spirit of doing something which the earlier, in the earlier times was considered as impossible, that's the defining feature of these times. And that has been possible because the country has got a leadership which is decisive. The country has a leader who thinks, who has confidence in our people's capabilities. I'll give the example of Vande Bharat. When Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji, he decided that yes, we must have our own world-class train, the first thing that our people did was to go to every possible country, to Germany, to Japan, to France, and say that, okay, we'll bring this, we'll import this technology. No. When they made the presentations to PM, PM said no. Our engineers in Bengaluru, in Hyderabad, in Chennai, in Pune, they are designing for the world. They are designing for the world. The products that are designed using our brains are running the entire world. Why shouldn't we keep faith? Why shouldn't we have confidence in our own engineers? Why shouldn't we give this responsibility to our own people? Let them design. There will be iterations, there will be version 1, version 2, version 3, fine. But as we develop, as we create technology, we learn on the way, and we'll develop something which will be world-class and will be lower in cost. That's the thought process by which the Vande Bharat train was designed. How many of you have had an opportunity to travel by it? Travel? Okay. Somebody from behind, what's your experience? Sir, with the beard? Entirely new experience? Give him a very big round of applause. Any other experience? Anybody else would like to share the experience? Yeah? Food was okay. The right quality, thank you. First time I'm... Food is always a difficult thing. But the riding quality, the quality of ride, Mhm. Excellent. Give her a very big round of applause. See, the thought process when we designed this train was, we have to benchmark it with the best in the world. How do you benchmark it with the best in the world? 0 to 100 kmph, riding quality, sound level inside the train, acceleration, deceleration, all these things, ergonomics of the seats. These are the world-class features. So, if you take the best in the world, bullet train, Shinkansen of Japan, how much time does it take to reach from 0 to 100? 54 seconds. 54 seconds. Now imagine, these are large, these are not like car which can, you press the pedal and zoom. It's not like that, right? These are large vehicles, very large vehicles, 700, 800 tons, correct? So, Vande Bharat, any guess? 0 to 100? Guess? Bullet is 54, I gave you the hint. Any guess? Morning breakfast was poor, no? Or too much breakfast? Guess. It can be wrong. What is there? 90. 2 minutes. 52 seconds. 54, 52. Right? Which has better acceleration? Vande Bharat has better acceleration. Aeroplane, when you fly, the noise level inside an aeroplane, right? How many of you are math guys here? Logarithmic scale, decibels. L&T guys? Professor? You raise it. Okay. So the noise level inside Vande Bharat is 100 times less than the noise in an aeroplane. 100 times. 100 times. How many of you have seen that video where the train is running at 180 kmph and we kept a glass of water on the driver's cabin like this? You have seen that video? What happens? What happens? The water doesn't even spill. The water doesn't even, it's there in my phone. If you haven't seen, do watch this. It will give you a lot of pride. It's a matter of pride for our country that our Prime Minister took the risk of developing a train. See, this is the video. Difficult to see for you, but you can check it out on YouTube. 180 kmph, 180 kilometers per hour. The train is running between Kota and Nagda, and this is the glass of water. There is no Fevicol under it, right? There is no fix-it under it. It's a glass kept exactly the way it is kept here. And the water doesn't spill at all. That's the, I don't want to take the risk here. So that's the design accuracy. What's important is, for the generation which is going to be the decision makers when India is at 100 years of its independence. How many of you are in that generation? 35 years minus. You guys are going to decide what India is going to be when we are 100 years in century of our independence, right? When you guys become the key decision makers, CEOs of your companies, ministers, right? in your own households, in your own families, the top person, deans, professors, right? By that time, India would have developed so many technologies. India would have taken this great leap forward that our Prime Minister is giving us this vision that we will be a developed country. India will be a developed country. But that will not happen automatically. That will not happen automatically. That will require tremendous amount of effort. That will require tremendous amount of persistence, tremendous amount of innovation. This example of the post office is that kind of innovation. I congratulate CPMG Saab. He always comes up with many nice solutions, many nice innovations. Very recently he had given this idea of a digital address, DAC. That idea came from Mr. Rajendra Kumar. That kind of ideation, that kind of initiative is something that will take our country forward. That's what we need, and I respectfully welcome our very honorable Mr. Gowda Saab, Sadanand Gowda Saab. He is one of the most respected politicians in our country, and he has always been my guide and mentor. So today we'll have him as the chief guest, and after my speech, Gowda Saab will speak. Thank you so much. Dhanyavadagalu.
Thank you very much, sir. Sir actually took us on a journey of the new India, and those three magical Kannada words of Namma Kannada surely lit up our spirits, sir. Thank you very much for the address. And as per the wishes of sir, I request our Honorable Member of Parliament to please. Yes, right, sir. Thank you, sir. So we have with us Shri Sadanand Gowda, sir, a Member of Parliament from Bengaluru North constituency. So sir has already welcomed, sir. So going forward, may I now request our Chief Postmaster General to please present a token of our gratitude to the Honorable Minister of Communications and other dignitaries on the dais. Thank you, sir. Thank you, all the dignitaries. We will now be proceeding for an interaction with the members of press and electronic media. Before that, may I request the gathering to please rise for the national anthem.
जनगण मन अधिनायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा द्राविड उत्कल बंगा विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उच्चल जलधि तरंगा तव शुभ नामे जागे तव शुभ आशीष मांगे गाहे तव जय गाथा जन गण मंगलदायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे.
We'll now be proceeding to interaction with the media. I request, a humble request to the media friends to please keep the questions one after the other and not to pile up on the questions. Thank you very much. Refreshments have been arranged for the audience in the next hall. I request you to please join us for a cup of tea. Thank you so much.
Here only? Here only, press?
So,
Media
yes, sir.
interaction here only? Okay.
Sir, good morning.
Morning.
I'm Lalita from the New Indian Express. I have two questions for you. One is this, are you having any plans across the country to replicate this kind of 3D printing technology so that, housing can reach the poor much faster? And the other thing is related to railways. I also cover railways. So are you going to take any steps to speeden up Vande Bharat, particularly in the Karnataka route? Because there is a lot of criticism that it's still chugging on very slow, and it's redundant because Shatabdi is also running along. Thank you.
Both are very good questions. First, see, the 3D printing is basically a technology demonstrator. It's basically a technology demonstrator here. Many other sectors have started adopting it, and as this becomes a popular technology, this will become a mainstream technology. At this point of time, it's a technology demonstrator. Many companies have started. I guess 3 companies you have licensed by now, transfer technology? L&T was the first. Yeah, many startups are also getting into it. As it gets mainstream, it will get popularized. Regarding the Vande Bharat, I would like to share with you that for almost 70-80 years, the railway tracks were designed earlier for a speed potential of 80 or 90 kilometers per hour. See, the speed of a train depends upon 2 factors. First, the speed itself, the train itself. Second, the speed capacity of the tracks. The tracks have to be upgraded to be able for a faster train to run. Last year, we have upgraded in the country almost 4,000 kilometers plus, where the speed potential is now 110, 130. And some areas we have already reached 160. So this is a very focused and a clear plan by which all the big cities and the medium cities which are connected by railways, the speed potential of those sections we are increasing. Now you must also realize that the life of a train is 35 years, right? So over a period of next 4 to 5 years, we will see a lot of improvement in the track capacity. So with that, the trains will be able to cover longer distances in much shorter time frame.
Good morning, sir. Chandra Shrikant here from Money Control. It's great to see you in Bangalore, and I hope as the technology minister you're here more often. Wonderful to have you here. So I have a couple of questions on the historic DPDP bill which became law last week. I just want to understand, when will the rule-making process start, and will the government follow a consultative process for rule-making under DPDP? If yes, do you believe this will become a long-drawn process, and could there be a delay before general elections? That is my first question. My second question, sir, is, the DPDP law has also steered clear of AI. So will the upcoming Digital India Act have a provision for this? What can we expect as far as AI regulation is concerned? Thank you.
Very good questions. Both the questions are excellent. First is, you have seen the DPDP Act now, right? Very simple language, very straightforward, easy to understand. Exactly same principles of drafting you will find in the rules also. Rules also will be very easy to follow, very simple, very straightforward, very easy to implement. Rule making process has already started. There are 3 things which have to be in place for the law to be fully implemented. First, the rules. Second, the entire architecture, digital by design architecture for implementing the law. And third, the data protection board. So we are working on all the 3 activities in parallel. There won't be any delay because of the elections, because the process was already initiated well before the law was enacted. So things are going in parallel. The consultation process that we have followed in enactment of the bill, we have had very extensive consultation. 48 organizations we consulted with. Some of the organization meetings were like this kind of audience, right? So, and good enough time we gave. Any question you want to ask, any suggestion you want to give, those suggestions were taken. 23,666 suggestions were received. and evaluated, 23,666. So that's huge consultative process. The Joint Parliamentary Committee also met more than 100 times. So we will follow a consultative process in rulemaking also, but we must understand in our legal structure, the fundamental thing is the Constitution, right? Constitution draws the boundaries for everything that we do. Within the Constitution, we make the laws. Within the law, the boundaries set by the law, we can make the rules. Rules cannot go outside the boundaries of the law. So the consultation process required for rule making will be lesser requirement compared to the law making. Because now the law is there, the boundaries are set. Within those boundaries, the details have to be filled in by rules. So that process we will follow. It will be a consultative process. The second question about AI, see, DPDP Act is a horizontal act. What do we mean by a horizontal act? When I say it's an horizontal act, it means that it applies to every sector. It applies to healthcare, it applies to financial services, it applies to e-commerce, it applies to practically every sector that we have in the country where citizens' personal data is used, processed. So the horizontal act is in place now. The vertical sectoral regulations will give the requirement for that particular sector, right? So horizontal act has to be technology agnostic. So let's say if AI comes and tomorrow quantum comes and tomorrow something else comes, post-quantum comes, then we should not be constrained by the law to deal with the new technologies. The law has to be technology agnostic so that the basic principles of privacy must be followed, whether it is AI technology, quantum technology, the conventional technology or internet 3, whatever is the new technology, the basic principles of citizens' data privacy must still be followed.
Morning, sir. My name is Haripriya from Money Control as well. 2 questions. The first is I wanted to understand what efforts is MeitY making to get EV makers like Tesla into India. And my second question is the chip incentives of $10 billion that the government is giving out. Will it be exhausted before, say, the next Semicon conference? And why can't we attract, say, makers like Samsung and Intel to set up fabs in India? Just wanted to understand. Thank you.
Tesla is coming is what we hear from your newspaper. So it won't be proper for me to make any announcements because Tesla car making is basically not the remit of MeitY ministry. We have to go? Yeah, we have to go. So this was the last question, okay? So the second question is about Semicon. See, we have got one of the most credible companies in the world, Micron, as the first investor, first manufacturer of chips in the country. We are already working with many other companies and we see very serious interest because of the various factors, good policy, good design capabilities, good talent stream. All these things are highly attractive and the success of the first one will drive the success of others. So that's why at this point of time, while we are discussing with many others, our focus is on making sure that the first one succeeds. And the progress is very good. Thank you.
So just last question here. So yeah, Sanath from Indian Express. So since you said Bangalore is very dear to you, I might as well ask a question regarding the Bangalore Suburban Railway project. Can we just know
I was expecting this. If you wouldn't have said, I would have spoken about it.
Yeah, so because your sanction letter had stated you would commission it by October 26, and then now the state government has pushed it to 28. So what is your stand on this? And what are the steps that Railway Ministry is taking to ensure the tendering and groundwork happens on war footing? And also and the second part of the question is about the airport corridor, which you said would commission by October 2023, for which the work should have started. So your thoughts on that?
I was actually discussing this project right in the beginning with Honorable MP. And see, even though this transition in government has happened, from the Government of India, the commitment to complete the suburban railway for Bengaluru city is absolutely intact, fully in place. We are going to push very hard. We are going to request the state government to provide all support for completing the suburban and further expanding it also. Because the way Bengaluru is growing, we will need more transportation in the coming years. So from the Government of India, Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji's commitment is Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas. Our focus will continue to be on completing it as early as possible. As you must be aware, the completion, the execution responsibility is with a company called K-Ride, which has majority stakeholder of the state government. 51% is the stake of the state government. So we will be requesting state government to provide all support, and this should not be seen as a political thing. This should be seen above politics for the citizens of Bengaluru, so that Bengaluru gets a world-class transportation service.
Thank you very much.
Chandrayaan, sir. On 23rd, Chandrayaan is landing. It's a proud moment for the entire country as well as our fellow citizens. What is your thoughts on that?
Like all big technological initiatives, this will also be one of those landmarks in the country, or the moon marks in the country, which will make us proud and which will also spawn many more technologies.
Thank you, sir. We are on a very tight schedule. Sir has to proceed for the G20 meeting. Thank you very much, sir, for having graced the occasion. And I thank all the press and media friends for your cooperation in understanding the situation. Sir is having a very tight schedule and he has to be present at G20 meeting shortly. So thank you very much for your patience and attending the program. Thank you very much. Please join us for a cup of tea in the annex hall, which is right next to this hall. I request audience to please join us for a cup of coffee in the annex hall.